Hey friends, and fam, what a crazy time that we are living in. I just wanted to send a little update video. I actually made one last week, updating you guys about my green card situation. But since then, the corona thing has broken out in crazy ways. And so I thought I'd make another one. I might still upload that one beneath, but just real quick, to bring you up to speed in terms of what is happening there. As most of you know, I've been living here for 9 years, working as an intercessor and missionary, and I had the opportunity to apply for a green card, but that was denied about a month and a half ago. And so that sent me into a tailspin of asking the Lord questions concerning what he's made me for, what he's called me to, is he closing the door here on the United States, and all things like that. And I felt like he made it really clear that he wasn't, and that I was to appeal the denial notice and do that. And so I have. It's been a crazy journey of doing that, and even over this past little season of being with the Lord and asking him about just next steps and how I walk this out. He reminded me of 2012 when he gave me a poem in the middle of the night concerning his call on my life to this nation, to be an intercessor here and to live the simple life, to gather people in my home and to learn what intercession meant. And so you'll see that in the other video if you watch it, but I'm sitting in my lounge room about to go off to a little celebration, because this lounge room has been the house of prayer for me. I definitely go to the house of prayer down the street, but this room has been the place of learning and encounter where young hearts and peers and friends that have become sisters have gathered in this room and cried and wept and learned what it's meant to do the first and the second commandment together, to love Jesus, and then to figure out what does it mean to have courage to love one another. And so it's been messy. I've made a lot of mistakes, but the Lord has really, he's really led me and helped. And it's been a wild journey. So I am contesting and appealing this visa. So if you could be praying, I don't know how this process is affected right now because of all of this government stuff and these changes and things. But if you could be believing with me for a fast and favorable result, so that I could stay here and continue to ask the Lord for his fullness over this nation as a missionary to America. And so secondly, the coronavirus. What in the world? What do we do? How do we respond? What is the Lord saying in this hour? Well, living in the United States, there's a lot of fear everywhere. And I think it really is such an invitation to lean in the place of love. Last night, and in faith, last night, some friends and I were talking to Lou Engle kind of on a group call, and he's been really significant in this nation as an intercessor. Some of you guys might know him, and as an intercessor in the nations. And right now he's called a fast, as you know, for 40 days. And as he was talking, he was sharing a number of different things, but there are a few things that really stuck out to me. And they were, first of all, that the Lord in this hour, it was an opportunity to learn what it meant to be the ecclesia of God. That we are, it says that the Lord would build his church and the gates of hell would not prevail against it. And that word church is the word ecclesia, or governing body. And so this was our opportunity to learn what it means to be a collective council and go before the Lord in humility and in faith, asking him to teach us how to be this governing body, to see his plans and purposes outworked on the earth right now. And then the second thing that really struck me from this conversation was Hebrews 10:25, which says, encourage one another, do not forsake meeting together, do not forsake the gathering together, even more so as you see the day approaching. The day being in capital D, meaning the Lord's return. And so out of this conversation, there was just a unanimous sense of this is a time to reconcile, to go together, to ascend the hill of the Lord together, as one heart and one mind, contending for the faith of the gospel, that we would be a collective voice before the throne room, in agreement, our lives in agreement, and that we would see the Lord do something unprecedented in our midst, that there would be a grace to gather, like as, you know, we've got different laws of, you know, shutting down after, like, 10 people can gather. Well, what if churches that were big gathering places began to gather in homes? What would it look like to sing and play and eat together in the lounge room? What would it look like to gather together and have courage to do and fight for the second commandment, not being afraid of being boundaryless, but being led by love and wisdom under Christ to go together in this? What does it look like right now for the church to be that governing body in love and in humility? What does that look like? I feel this is the great invitation from heaven right now, as we see the nations raging in fear, as we see people afraid of getting sick, as we see people literally dying, and these different stringent measures being placed on us. Let us get heaven's perspective. Yeah, let us like take our place in the heavenlies with one another and ask him. Like last night, I wanted to share. Last night I was gathering with some friends, and it was amazing because we were just talking and praying, and then a dear friend just quoted Jesus out of John 17, and he said, "Father, I desire that they would be one as we were one, as we are one." And immediately it was like we were caught up in this whirlwind of the desire of the Lord for the nations of the earth, for the bride of Christ to be one. And we were caught up in a moment where we could feel that great high priest standing before the Father and asking the Father for the things on his heart. And so my heart is burning in this hour to see him do it. Would he do it through us by faith? So that's my little report. I know this is kind of long, but just really wanted to share my heart and just say, let us have faith. Let us have faith to gather together. Let us have faith to look at the sun. Let us have faith to not shrink back, but to be led by love with courage and without fear. So love you all, and may the Lamb that was slain receive the reward of his suffering. Amen.